the ship being caught, that is the most time-consuming part of the mission. With the booster, it is up and back within 10 minutes, like that, easily, no question. And then they can get that saved and then probably removed from the launch mount and transported back.
Native US static IP, only $1.99 for first-time buyers. Select an IP range, free returns and exchanges 24/7. Today, we're bringing you the latest offer from Loki Proxy. For just $1.99, you can get a native US residential static IP for 30 days. Contact customer service using the contact information provided on the official website. You can test the IP quality to see if it meets your expectations before purchasing. The introductory price for all US static IPs is $1.99. Original residential household bandwidth. If you encounter account suspensions, traffic throttling, or other issues after making a purchase or during the testing phase. If you encounter account suspensions
on Flight 5, but I don't know for certain. But maybe if the actual chopstick stabilizers are inserted, they can prevent the ship trying to push away from the SQD plate once they try to attach it up and try and offload it. I'm not really sure.
I think it's got to be the SQD. Ryan, what's up?
No, they'll vent it. That's all they'll do.
Yeah.
You think so?
Like the header tanks don't hold that much prop, and they're mostly used up on the landing burn. They'll just dump it and vent it, and safe it that way. And then lower it down onto a transport stand and get it hooked up to the tower for pre-pressed gases and then safe it the rest of the way. A red team will go in, hook it up, all that other jazz. They'll have to get a transport stand rolled in, but then again, they should have time to be able to roll it in and get it in place, and then a ship gets caught, and then it gets safed and lowered onto it. Because hooking up the QD, I mean, you might be able to do that with just the ship hanging in the air. It's a maybe. We'll go with that. And then you could try to drain what's left through the QD, but it's all gravity drain anyways. And there wouldn't really be that much methane left on board. The header tanks don't hold that much. They can vent 7 tons per test, methane-wise. So, like, if there's like 3 tons of methane left, they can just dump it and vent it out. They actually dump liquid methane during launches here. So when we get close to launch here, you'll see 2 vents on the bunker active. One's a LOX drain, the other one's a methane drain. They are dumping liquid oxygen and liquid methane out of the service structure to make sure that everything's empty. And they also do the same thing on the tower too. There's a LOX drain, there's a methane drain. They actually just dump it and vent it out. It's not much. People think, oh, it's really bad. It's not really that much that they do. They have a large quota for being able to dump out over the course of a year, and as I said, it's about 7 tons per test or so. Everything's empty. So they also do the same thing on the just vent it when you catch it. There's a LOX drain, there's a methane drain.
That's a good point. I was saying ship quick disconnect, and now that I'm thinking, like, yeah, there's not going to be much fuel left in that thing. Just dump it. Yeah, that's a good point, dude. Yeah, you changed my mind about that. Thank you.
It's not, it's a very simple solution to it. Honestly, it's the booster is easy because you can just lower it down and hook it up and do that, and then whatever.
That's a good point.
But
I was saying ship quick disconnect, and now that I'm thinking,
it will probably have less prop left over in it in later missions because
that's a good point,
it's.
dude.
I mean, I know they're probably slightly underfueled in it, but as they refine it, there will be less and less prop left over, which means they may even be able to just vent the booster off and then put it on a transport stand and roll it away. Unless they're going to reuse it right away, then it'll just go on the pad and wait for a new ship to come in. Basically, it will probably have less prop left over in it.
Dude, while you guys were having that conversation, Patrick Bob dumped another 50 red teams on us.
Dude, Patrick,
man.
And then put it on a transport stand and roll it away.
Patrick, oh my goodness. And that dude, the rest of the support queue is full of messages like don't let EJ keep up. X-Wing, I saw that. Don't let EJ catch up.
Well, you guys are having that
You guys,
conversation.
we appreciate the
Patrick
support.
Bob
Once again,
dumped another
support
50
is
red
appreciated,
teammates
but
on
it
us.
ain't expected.
Dude.
When I'm hosting these suckers, dudes, I want to earn that money. You know what I mean? I don't want to ask for it, so I do appreciate it. You guys speak volumes with how big that support queue is. There's messages that I haven't gotten through that go back to about 2 hours ago. So, you know, Patrick, thank you for the 50, and everybody out there that's been tipping, that's been buying stuff from the store, doing super chats, becoming members. We appreciate it, really do. Thank you very much. But it's not expected. You know, we value your time, and if you're here and you just show up and that's all you want to do, that is totally good. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting us. We do appreciate it.
You know, Patrick, thank you for the.
Anyway, back to the shenanigans. All right, I gotta snap back into unserious EJ.
What's that restaurant?
We appreciate it. Yeah, what's the restaurant with all the goofy stuff on the walls and the mozzarella sticks? You know, we value your time, and if
Shenanigans?
that's all you want to do. All right. Meow. I'm gonna get back to teeing up these questions here. This is coming from user 02P9V, who's asking, will they ever get to the point where they can lower the booster onto the pad after catching it, then catch the ship and lower it onto the booster? Ryan, this one's to you.
No, never. Unless they make a taller tower. They'll never be able to catch a ship with the booster already on the pad. I don't see how you need that's why you need catch towers.
Will they ever get to the point where they can
They're like look at where the sticks are right now, look at where the booster is, and look how tall the ship is. And also remember when Block 4 goes, that booster is like 10 meters taller. And the ship is going to be even taller as well. You're telling me there's enough margin to catch? No, I don't see how. No, there's not. You need that's why you need catch. They'll never be able to catch a ship with a booster on the pad. They'll have to catch it on a separate tower, put it onto a transport stand, and then just put a new ship back on the. Basically, just have a new ship ready to go once the booster comes back. That's basically what they're going to have to do. You're telling me there's enough margin to catch?
Yeah, we got another helicopter coming into landing. Once again, if you guys are looking and you're wondering, the helicopter, what's going on here? These are the helicopters that are patrolling the pad perimeter, just making sure nobody comes near the vehicle, you know, as they move closer to launch. Now, I know what you're wondering. Why is it landing? Well, it's landing right here, right in the middle of Highway 4 here, and it's beyond the roadblock, and what they're doing is they're refueling it. If you look behind the rear passenger window, just to the right, there's a kind of a hole in the side of the helicopter that's facing downwards. That's the fuel spigot. They're going to land this thing, and guys are going to go over there with a fuel line, and they're going to refuel it. It's landing right here. And we got a good touchdown there. And it's beyond the roadblock, and what they're doing is they're refueling it. All right. Behind the rear passenger window, just to the right. You could see kind of a hole. The helicopter pilot, you know, you see the helicopter kind of rest down on the gear. That's when he lowered the collective. The blade pitch on the blades up there. And if you notice, when he lowered the collective pitch, the blade RPM sped up. Helicopters 101 right here. There we go. This guy's going out to fuel right there. Good stuff. Now, SpaceX does have two helicopters that are patrolling the perimeter here. This is one of them. The other one is blue, a different shade of blue. What are those spikes at the front for? Oh, that was a question coming over from Twitch chat. Do you guys know what the spikes at the front of the helicopter are for? Now, SpaceX does have two helicopters that are patrolling the perimeter. Not necessarily. This is one of them.
Which ones?
There's a spike that makes the helicopter look like a unicorn. What are those spikes at the front?
I'd have to look at it again.
Oh. All right. When we zoom out here, I'll show you. Do you guys know what the spikes at the front
panning
of
left.
the helicopter? So.
Oh.
See those ones that look like a unicorn spike coming out the top and then coming out the bottom?
Which ones?
Save time creating content and generate a high-quality clone of your voice with 11 Labs.
I'd have to look at it again.
Change the way you record podcasts, voiceovers, and branded content with the #1 AI-powered voice-generating technology. Stop searching for the perfect voice and stop wasting time re-recording take after take. Try 11 Labs for free and start elevating your content today.
the cable will get snagged on those spikes, and at the base of the spike, there's a blade that'll cut it. So you don't slingshot your helicopter. That would be bad. We don't want that.
That would be very bad.
Yep. That's a good question. Good question. And Max, you are right. The white tube at the very nose of the helicopter is your pitot tube. That's your airspeed indicator for the helicopter.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of which spikes, and I also hadn't noticed those other spikes until we had just pan left here.
You don't
I'll
slingshot
admit.
your helicopter. That would be bad. We don't want that. Yep. No, it's all good. Yeah, the camera was zoomed in when that was happening, but yeah. There you go. There's your helicopter knowledge for the day. White tube at the very nose of the helicopter. Man, there was a Crafty Geek again? Dude, what is this? 50 red teams from Crafty Geek. Guys. Oh, jeez. You guys are painting our chat green. Yep. No, it's all good. Yeah, the camera was zoomed in when that was happening. But I don't know what to do with my hands. There's your helicopter knowledge for the day. Felt like I was on a helicopter. Crafty Geek again? Dude, what is this? I don't know what to do with my hands. 50 red teams from Crafty Geek. Guys. Jeez, thank you for all the support, Crafty. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, dude. You guys are painting our chat green. Got some high rollers in chat that just like making it rain. Making it rain, red teams. I don't know what to do with my hands. Oh, boy. You think those guys have a cool job? What's your job? Refuel helicopters. No big deal.
While they're still running.
For range safety.
Yep. Yeah.
For range safety.
A range safety guy for Starbase. No big deal.
It looks like the sun's out.
I agree. I see shadows.
Yep. The sun has been poking through a lot more in the last half hour or so. Actually, if I look in one of my rear view mirrors right now, I can actually see a patch of blue sky to my west. So if the weather pattern continues what it's doing now, it looks like it's trending in the right direction. But actually, if I look south, it looks like there is a bit of a rain cell to our south, although I cannot tell if the way it's evolving is coming this way or if it is continuing east. I'll have to check the radar again one more time if Daniel beats me to it. But I don't know. There's blue sky in my rear view mirrors, and there's rain clouds off to the south. I'm not entirely sure which one. Go ahead.
So I see that cell forming, but it doesn't have a direction currently. I'm on radar scope on my phone. We'll see what happens to it, but I would expect with everything else, it's going to go due east, as it has been.
That'd be nice.
It could go over the pad real quick, but it wouldn't really slow anything down because they're not even close to the launch window yet. They're still 3.5 hours away from the launch window. So you see that stuff that formed down there. There's that little speck right below the border there that's forming. But we'll see where that goes. That may dissipate quick, or it may just go off into the Gulf and completely dissipate. The stuff I would be a little bit worried about is the stuff off to the west. If that dissipates or if that goes over the pad or something. But maybe it goes down to the south and around, but that's about the only stuff I'd be worried about, unless it's just clouds and it's not actual rain, because it depends on, because sometimes it may just be clouds and not actual like rain. So,
I mean, that does look pretty light, so I'm not too worried about it right now.
Or if that goes over the pad or something. But maybe it goes down to the
just looking at that tank farm, it's cheeching. The box fan is just cheeching every once in a while there.
Yeah, they're not in the LOX chill down yet. I don't see the LOX pumps chilled or the actual it's the old bunker vent, grass vent that we used to have over at Pad 1.
Whoa, flashback.
That's routed into the box fan now because that was the LOX pump chill down. That's routed in there, and that line isn't frosty yet. So the LOX side isn't getting chilled down. They're still just running vaporizers and everything right now. That's probably a lot to do with the amount that they're refueling at the moment. So we're waiting for the last tanker trucks to kind of get out of here. So as we see, there's another one leaving there. I don't know how many are left over there. I would have to go look, but there shouldn't be that many left. So the LOX side isn't getting chilled down. They're still just running
Yep. All right, so we are at T-minus 3 hours, 25 minutes on the dot here for the window opening for Starship Flight 12. Starship's 12th flight on orbit in the first test of the version 3 booster and ship, or block 3. I like block 3. I mean, you say either one. It's interchangeable. But also we get the first, we will be getting the first launch on pad number 2 at Boca Chica, which is the pad in the center of your screen there, as you can see from the shot from the Margaritaville Hotel Beach Resort in South Padre Island. They were generous enough to let us put our cameras up there. And, yeah, we will have some commentary from there a little bit later as we get into the launch stream. But also we get the first, sooner rather than later. We will be getting the first launch. All right. I'm gonna plow through a little bit more support. Chad has, Chad has been determined to not have me clear the support queue. Thank you, I guess. Now, but before I do that, we do, if you guys want to support us, you don't want to support us from a tip, you don't want to support us becoming a Red Team member, you can support us by buying stuff in the store. We got plenty of good stuff over in the store. We got apparel, t-shirts, we got mugs, we got patches, we got pins. Patches for Flight 12 are in limited supply, but we got everything you need for the space flight, not in yourself or significant other. Great birthday gifts, just saying. Great birthday gifts, yes, you would love this. Look at these patches, very nice. We got mugs, we even have, hard drink glasses over there, or soft drink glasses, depending on how you're feeling. Depends. Is it Friday? Is it Wednesday? It says whiskey glass on there. That's all I'm saying. It says whiskey glass. I mean, you can fill it with orange juice or apple juice if you want. Depends on the time of day, right? It's 5 p.m. somewhere. I believe it's 5 p.m. in the Atlantic Ocean right now. But hey, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. But anyway, guys, yeah, if you want to support us that way, get some cool merch out of it. We do appreciate it. We got a whole plethora of stuff from the merch team. So,
and I want to give a quick shout out real quick to the actual sun shirts that we have as well, because I think I have almost every single one in some way, shape, or form now, because they are like what I'm wearing like 90% of the time during summer here, Starbase, and of course in Central Florida, because the sun in both locations can be extremely brutal. But we have designs from Starship TPS designs to my much beloved SLS design or theme sun shirt, and also just ones with the basic colors and NSF logos on them. So check those out if you haven't already as well. Great way to keep your skin from not burning in the summertime, although I always seem to find a way. Locations can be extremely brutal.
I'm gonna lie, I kind of want one of those whiskey glasses. Not for drinking whiskey.
They are pretty sweet.
For drinking Gatorade or something. Sure. Yeah, you could put 6 packs of soda in there.
Great way to keep your skin from not.
Actually, this is not a question, but Darren, I'm going to show this on the screen anyway. All this merch is good for Father's Day. I'm just saying, you miss Mother's Day, could be good for Father's Day. That's a good point. That you bring up a good point, Darren. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, dude. Yeah, you could put 6 packs. Yeah, I don't need to put questions down there. I can put whatever.
Migrating to Hostinger is the best decision I have ever made for my business.
Actually, this is not a question, but Darren, I'm going to show this on the screen anyway. All this merch is good for Father's Day. Just saying.
Head to hostinger.com and migrate your website today. Hostinger.
You bring up a good point, Darren. That's all I'm saying. They're like, what are you doing? Stop it. Yeah, I don't need to put questions down there. No, I don't think I will. All right. So where are we at? We're 3 hour, 20 minute, 55 seconds till the window opening for Starship Flight 12. Now, once again, this is a 90-minute window, so it might target the top of the window. It really kind of depends on the weather. Right now, last we heard from SpaceX, weather's 55% go. So it's kind of a coin toss right now. Kind of a coin toss. We'll see. But what's up?
I'm hoping like soon for like an updated post from SpaceX on like, hey, by the way, here's where we're at with maybe the percentage go has changed. I'm hoping for something like maybe T-minus 3 hours.
Coin toss right now.
Maybe.
Kind of a coin toss. We'll see.
I'd like an updated post like where they think they're at. Hoping but one could dream. We'll see if we get something.
Now, we asked, Max and Brian, when you guys got in here, I asked you. So I'm going to ask you again. All right, how you feeling about it now? Ryan, you feeling good about this? You feeling good about seeing a launch today? Or are we going to be real pessimist Ryan Weber missed?
Where they think they're at.
What?
What?
I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Your what hurts?
Don't worry about it. Now, we asked, Max and Brian,
Okay, who's going first? Is it me or is it Ryan?
Go first, Max. You go first.
Okay,
Right.
so
Ryan,
from a
feeling
weather
good about
standpoint,
this?
I
About
feel
seeing a launch today, or are we gonna be
better
real
than I did
pessimist
when I
Ryan
came on about 2 hours ago now,
Weber
2 and a bit hours ago
What?
now. The weather, for the most part, is trending in the right direction, despite there being a little rain cell developing to my south right now, or to the south of the launch site. It doesn't look like it's going to be forming into anything much more than just an annoying cell. But from a vehicle and ground service equipment side standpoint, I'm still skeptical, especially after we saw. The weather, for the most part, is trending in the right direction. What we presume to be aborted wet dress rehearsal of the full stack vehicle during the morning. So, oh boy, I don't know.
And here we go. There's the W. Here's ignition.
Following up.
Did you just do a curveball? Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag,
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, it sure looks like a perfect world.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
We did have an observation. 343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers fly! Bingo! Right in the center. Where's Jackman? There it is! That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my God.
Yikes, you bet. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Full reusability of an engine like this is really something that people haven't done before.
Version 3 is what I like to call the foundational design of Starship Booster in the pad.
We've never built a ship V3 before and gotten it to this stage of production.
Booster 19 is actually the second of the version 3 boosters that we've built.
This is the final go no-go code for today's operations. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to, it's been a long time coming, Flight 12 of Starship, the first flight of the V3, the Block 3, both terms work, of Starship from the first time from Pad 2, but the first time using Raptor 3s. Lots of firsts. So it's going to be a long, long stream, as you can imagine, as we always do. This is called a stakeout stream. This is where we have like a preview show, and we talk about everything, go through a lot of subject matters, then we go into what's called a launch stream, and that's where things get to the business end of the countdown, and hopefully resulting in a launch later on today. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Well, talk about it. We've got Alex. Hello, Alex.
Hello, Chris. It kind of makes you wish that this was not Pad 2 and instead Pad 3, because everything is 3 on this flight. Raptor 3, version 3, should rhyme as well with a pad.
Indeed. We're also joined by EJ. Hello, EJ.
Good morning. Well, it's not morning for you guys, but hey, good morning to everybody that it's morning in.
I've lost track of what time it is at all now. Every day's rolled into one now. Also in the background, because I always thank the producer, I never forget to thank the producer, is Ryan Caton, who you'll be hearing from later. So Ryan is multitasking right now, doing the production of the stakeout stream at this part of the juncture. But as you know by now, the regular thing, we do make this interactive as possible. If you've got any questions, do at NSF or at NASA Spaceflight, follow by your question that way. It doesn't matter if it rolls off the end of chat, which it will do because chat's already going fast and this is the start of the stream. It'll go into our panel so we can come back and refer to it and basically answer the question best we can. So that's what I always suggest. If you've got a good question, make sure you do it at NASA Spaceflight first, or at NSF first, and that way it ensures it goes into the panel. If you don't do it that way, it'll scroll off chat, we'll never get a chance to see it. So that's the best way of doing it. I think the best way to start this one off is because we do have sections. We're going to cover subject matters. And guess what? Because I'm the old person, I get to cover a bit of the historical part of this, but let's do a status check, shall we, Alex? Because people will be joining going, oh, rocket on the pad launch, I see T-minus 9 minutes, 51 minutes, where are we, what do we do? This part is kind of quiet. Are they still loading the tank farm with tankers?
Yeah, you can see one of them there on the road. It's sort of right now above the ticker, like where it says launch. And passing hopper. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so basically they're still just doing clears and everything, clearing the area and whatnot. They're still delivering cryogenic fluids and things like that, like nitrogen and oxygen and the likes. It's quite funny because it's been non-stop since yesterday's wet dress rehearsal, and it was like a continuous just line of these trucks unloading to this tank farm. It's kind of crazy. But, you know, they got to get ready because today the weather has been a little bit iffy today. It's not been great. Let's put it that way.
It's not, AJ, I'm unfairly asking you about the weather forecast, but as the resident American on here right now, it's better than me just checking the BBC. So right now it's kind of grey skies. I think SpaceX are talking about 55% go weather or 55% no-go weather. I've lost that track, but it is kind of grey right there. Texas, South Texas, this time of year, is it notorious for this kind of like moody, thunderstormish weather, or is it something that we're hoping will clear?
It's definitely spring weather for the Rio Grande Valley. I was down there for Flight 7 and Flight 8, and this tracks. So they are looking at 55% go, Chris. So I don't know. It's kind of a coin toss. Like I don't mean to be that guy, but when I was down there for Flight 8, I ended up having a very nice extended vacation down in the Rio Grande Valley. And don't get me wrong, it's beautiful down there, but yeah, it's definitely away from my computer for a little while. So I don't know. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing, Jet. It's just 55% go. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm kind of tempted to run into my historical references already because of the go no go weather and the fact that Starship needs to find ways of achieving a flight rate where it's not too concerned about weather. Otherwise, it's not going to be the rapidly reusable vehicle because it'll be starting the pad waiting for good weather, which is something Florida knows can be iffy at times. But we do have a lot of questions about this. So I want to go straight to Alex and try and cover the base as best we can. And I'm covering literally 15 questions here, asking, was the wet dress rehearsal yesterday successful, or was it a scrub? Or was it something where they held it, but they were happy with what they got, so that's why they're proceeding towards launch, because they didn't fully load it, but they're still doing a launch day, Alex. So how do we juggle those things together?
Yeah, we were explaining this yesterday, that basically what everything pointed to a wet dress rehearsal, basically, right? And it aborted midway through prepare and load, like about 20 minutes out from what was the plan T0, basically. It was pointing to like 11:43 a.m. Central, more or less. And it got stopped around 11:20, 21, basically. And the whole point that I was trying to make the whole time was that, we really don't know what was the full purpose of the wet dress rehearsal in the first place, right? We know that there had been potentially some work on the pad. There might have been also work on the vehicles. And just like we saw with Booster 19's first engine test campaign when it got out to the pad with just 10 engines, they did a brief static fire test that was nowhere near the length that they wanted, and they still proceeded to the next step in the process with 33 engines instead of replacing those 10 engines and coming back again with 10 engines, right? And so it can be both at the same time that they did not complete a planned wet dress rehearsal, but they got enough test data to proceed into a launch countdown today, that they were comfortable with that data to be able to come back here today and say, let's try this, let's launch it, right? And those two things can be compatible because we've seen this sort of thing before with even this same vehicles in this case. And so it's not unheard of, basically. And so it's very much a thing that's very compatible with each other.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a segue, but I'm finding lots of segues already. I'm almost just tempted to go straight into this and just mention my go-to line, which is Starship is everything shuttle wanted to be, and people go, "What do you mean by that, Chris?" And I go, "That's fine. It does sound a bit weird, doesn't it? Because they look completely different, and they do look completely different. But the shuttle was brought in with a goal of rapid reusability. It was meant to be like an airline type operation. I put out on X just the other day an old render pre-1980s, so it was before the shuttle launched, of what they envisioned would be. And EJ, I'm going to bring you right in on this one.
Nope,
Shuttle, yep. It basically was a situation where they thought they would launch the vehicle, they would bring the vehicle back, they would land it, they'd bring it back into an aircraft-like hangar, not the OPFs with all the scaffolding and what have you, and all the gantries, literally a hangar, like you'd see an airplane in. Put a new payload in, send it back out to the VAB, put it back on the pad with the ET and SRBs, send it back out to launch pad and launch again. But then they found out the TPS needed like 3 months of renovation. So how does Starship avoid that, EJ? I mean, Elon makes a big point about the TPS and how the shuttle was basically curtailed by the fact they had to do refurbishment after every single launch. What does Starship need to do? Do they need to focus on the TPS more than anything else? Because if they're going to relaunch this vehicle within a short amount of period, they can't just take it back to a high bay and spend weeks and weeks redoing a TPS, can they?
Chris, I think they could. To be honest with you, I know that's going to sound ridiculous, but if you're employing it in scale, sure, why not? Think about it, right? The shuttles, they had... Okay, we had 4 operational orbiters at any given time during the shuttle program, right? It ended up being 3, not for a good reason, right, by the end of the program. But there's those hangar pictures, man. Yep. They could have done that. I want to, like, I'm not trying to be like, no, Chris, like, I think they could have gotten away with it. But that's we can save that for a whole nother debate, I suppose. In terms of the tiles on Starship, so the Starship's tiles use mechanical adhesion, meaning that they're like kind of bolted to the stainless steel, right? The shuttles were glued, right? And that was one of the reasons why they had to overlook the whole thermal protection system. Now, the real big thing, the real unknown with the tiles from the shuttle program was water intrusion, believe it or not. I know that sounds ridiculous. It's like you think it's like the shuttle a seaplane? No. It's not. You got to think about where the shuttle lands. Now, when it lands in California, when the shuttle was doing landings at Edwards Air Force Base, not so much of a problem. Pretty dry out there. Florida is the opposite of that. Very humid, right? So they had to deal with water ingress because when the shuttle got down into the lower parts of the atmosphere, the tiles actually started absorbing water. And the glue that they used to glue the tiles to the shuttle was water soluble. So the tiles started falling off. In fact, they were working all the way up to the end of the program to try and inhibit water ingress to the tiles because the tiles are very porous. They're kind of almost spongy, I'd say. And water would get stuck in there. And if it gets stuck in there, the tile's going to fall off. That's part of the reason why they had to go and look over the tiles, et cetera, et cetera. But with Starship, you have mechanical adhesion. Now, some of Starship's tiles are glued. Some of them are glued in position. But they have a silica blanket backer, right? They call the crunch wrap. And then they're using that as a gap filler. And then the tile is actually bolted to it. Now, the mechanical adhesion you can get away with Starship. You can get away with it because it's made out of stainless steel. On the shuttle, not so much. The shuttle it was made out of aluminum, or you guys would say aluminium. I say aluminum just because I like.
We say it the correct way, AJ. Yeah.
No, aluminum. We're gonna I'll meet you in the middle. All right, that's good enough compromise. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, cool. So because the shuttle is made out of aluminum. Right? When they were going through reentry, some of the heat from reentry would get passed through the tiles, through the glue, into the aluminum. The shuttle frame would actually stretch, similar to the Concorde. Concorde would do the same thing, but for different reasons. You get thermal expansion, and that...
Most people are already paying for multiple AI tools, one for strategy, one for writing, and one for visuals. But what if you got the same AI power, the same models, with one subscription only? Here's how that works in practice. Let's take an example. Let's use a simple brief and run the same prompt across GPT 5.4 Pro, Gemini 3.1 Pro, Grok 4.1, and DeepSeek to create a proposal and define the strategic direction by identifying the target audience, the offer framing, the key message, and the proposal angle. After that, Nano Banana 2 generates a simple visual concept based on our files, making the final output feel more complete and more client-ready. Now that we have the proposals from different models, let's ask Opera AI which one delivers the strongest output for this brief. After reviewing, GPT 5.4 Pro came out on top of our comparison, delivering the strongest output overall, although it also took the longest, while DeepSeek performed very well too. But as we all know, every model has its own strength, and that's the real advantage. Inside Opera Neon you can leverage all of them in one place, so you don't have to decide which one you want to pay for. If you tried to build this AI stack across separate subscriptions, you'd be paying well over $250 per month. With Neon, you get all of these in one place for just $90 per month. And because our model selection is continuously growing, you're always working with the best tools available, without paying for a fragmented AI stack.
What if you could claim a stake on what's set to be the biggest IPO ever, starting with just $500? Everybody's talking about Elon Musk's SpaceX.
That's the reason why they needed the glue, because they needed to take into account that slight expansion of the shuttle's airframe during reentry because it's getting superheated, right? With Starship, you don't necessarily need to worry about that as much. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that reentry is negligible here by any means. But the mechanical adhesion with the stainless and the silica backer to the tile makes it so it can tank a little bit more heat. We've seen that from the past Starship missions, right? Because, SpaceX they bolted some Starlink antennas to this thing, and we've actually been able to see the reentry, which is pretty crazy. But Starship is aiming to get around that problem because, two basic things, if we're going to narrow it down: mechanical adhesion of the tiles and the vehicle being made out of stainless. So we'll see. I mean, only time is going to tell if this thing is as reusable as what the original shuttle engineers promised with the shuttle. We don't know for sure, but we'll see. Hopefully we see some action today.
Yeah, absolutely. And well done to Ryan Caton for bringing up this tweet I was referencing, because it wasn't something I was planning. It was someone had tweeted something in reference to TPS, and Elon retweeted it, so I got to see it, and I thought, well, I'll just chime in. Even though the tweet was correctly mentioning the fact that TPS was a problem with the space shuttle, I thought I'd bring up the example of what they envisioned and what the reality was. And with all the best hope in the world, SpaceX needs to learn how to avoid this issue. But again, with the caveat on top of that, from what EJ's saying, is that it's not going to be a case of where SpaceX is going to have only 4 ships, like the 4 operational shuttles were at the maximum. And remember, EJ, of course, they actually took a shuttle out of the rotation to send to California, to Palmdale, for their maintenance, the MMDs, their maintenance periods. So it was never really the maximum capacity of orbiters, even when they had all of them around. It was crazy, but it's a different situation now with SpaceX. They're going to have a number of vehicles. We've seen, like, Alex, I'll bring you in on Falcon 9 now. There's a fleet of Falcon 9 boosters that they rotate through. That's why we've seen the numbers on the end. We've seen the new boosters with the 2s on the end. We've seen the older boosters with the 30s on the end. They've got a stable of Falcon 9s. I've actually forgotten how many they've got. Do you know how many they've got in rotation right now, Alex?
Oh boy, it's usually around 20 nowadays, a little bit over 20, but it's always changing. So it's not like I can keep really a good track of any of that. There's not a cell in my spreadsheet that says these are the many, how many active boosters there are. I have a spreadsheet where I do have all of the boosters and their flights and everything, and they're like color coded whether they are active or not. But that will mean like I have to actually go one by one and count the ones that are currently considered active, and so. I will have to count this by hand. I can do it if you give me 5 minutes.
I will give you 5 minutes because
but it's usually 20.
Yeah. It is fascinating because they do rotate them, and that's something we're probably going to see in the future, in the years to come, with Starship and SpaceX Starship, with the boosters and the ships. This is the thing. People go, Falcon 9 is great. Why are they even bothering? Well, Falcon 9 is the booster. They don't bring back the upper stage. The ship on the booster, on Starship, is the upper stage. They're going to bring it all back. That's the full reusability. That's the game changer. So that's where it all comes into play. That was less than 5 minutes, Alex.
It turned out to be just one. So it's 25 right now, if we count every single booster that could be available for a launch. On normal rotation, about 5 or 6 of those 25 boosters are either already like fairly new and already assigned to other customer missions and things like that. And so it's like maybe the rest 18 to 19 boosters are the actual ones that are sort of more actively in rotation. There are a few others that are even like not flown yet, and we know that they have been tested because we've seen them at Rare. So sometimes they really keep new boosters around as well, just waiting to launch.
Right. While I was referencing shuttle, I caught corner of my eye, so I made sure I saved it, and it was from Bruce TV Tube, great username. Was Greenham Common UK ever a shuttle emergency runway? No, it was RAF Fairford. But the emergency shuttle landing facilities, in the event of an immediate abort, a deorbit, I should say, such as like a strike to the Freon lines on the cooling, which is the radiators on the outside of the payload base, or the inside, as the case would be, but it'd open up the payload base so that the radiators would be in space. Would be Fairford for the UK, but they had like 50 sites, and there's a map. We've got a PDF in L2 which shows all the maps and all the nav aids and what have you. And there's some really crazy small islands which happen to have long, like, military runways on them, as you can imagine, around the world, that were allowable for shuttle emergency returns. How did they ever get them back to KSC from that would be a big question, but the main priority was to bring the crew back. So there are many, but the UK one was RAF Fairford. I just remember that one. Put it on screen so people know what I'm talking about there. There we go. Also, some thanks, because we always get great support, and I always want to make sure. Ryan's so fast with the pick. Look at this. We always get lots of support, and I want to make sure we always appreciate it by mentioning it on chat. Schrodinger's Cat, just here's a small gift to the team for the best intro theme music on YouTube. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Yeah, it is iconic now, isn't it? Yeah, I think it'd be a riot if we ever changed it. It'd also be a riot if we ever removed the moo from our intros. That's never going to go. Justin's been busy in the store. Let me put them on display here. The comment, because when you get something from the store while we're live, you can actually put a comment in as well, which is like a question, like a super chat in its own right. Oh, you got the hat. I've got that hat. I've got the NSF hat. That's cool. The new Raptor V3 seems unreal to me. One improvement. Go SpaceX, go Starship. Yeah, it's so much so that poor Tori Bruno still gets referenced in saying, people saying, wow, 33 unfinished engines on the active booster 19, because he did think it was an unfinished engine. It's been so streamlined. It's incredible. EJ, let's talk about Raptor 3 just for a second, because it is an incredible engine. the famous Tory Bruno tweet referencing what looked like an incomplete Raptor 3 was actually a complete Raptor 3. They've streamlined this engine down really impressively, haven't they?
Oh yeah, between Raptor 2 and Raptor 3, they increased the thrust from on the sea level engines to 551,000 pounds force, up from 507,000 pounds force. That's basically about 2,400 kilonewtons up to almost 2,500 kilonewtons of thrust. That's pretty crazy. They've also been able to shave off about.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone. But getting in the zone and staying there, that feels more like luck than something you can control. So that's why we made Brain FM. It's like a do not disturb setting for your mind, and it gets you focused in just 5 minutes. Using science and sound, Brain FM guides your brainwaves into an optimal state for productivity called neural phase locking, which lets different parts of your brain work together more easily. Compared to average music, Brain FM actually increases and sustains your focus over time, letting you
about 100. I'm looking at this right. About 105 kilos. So that's about 220 pounds off of each engine. That's in overall mass savings is about 1 ton per engine through simplification. Like, because they took all the sensors and everything, instead of having them all on the outside, they're on the inside of the castings. Well, they're not necessarily castings, but yeah, they really have simplified these engines. And yeah, you know, I can't blame anybody for looking at a Raptor 3 that didn't know, right? It'd be like, oh yeah, that's unfinished. They don't have any of their commodity lines attached or anything like that. No, it's extremely simplified because these engines are designed to be mass produced. SpaceX is all about scale. It's the same, you know, Chris. It's the same as beating the tile problem. You could beat the tile problem with, if you have 100 starships. If each one of them needs some downtime for their tiles, you have 100 starships. It's not a big deal, right? You could do the same thing with the engines, and that's ultimately why Raptor 3 looks so simplified, in my opinion, because they're trying to, well, not in my opinion, they're trying to mass produce these things, and they have some insane mass savings this time around. Raptor 3 is crazy. It is a crazy piece of equipment. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when we watched that booster static fire, I was kind of taken aback from the overpressure, like it igniting. It was, Chris, dare I say it, it was almost solid rocket booster like. Just with the big blast, right, of 33 engines firing all at the same time. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, with the shuttle launch, you'd get the SSMEs firing up, and you'd get the big, massive cloud that come out the trench. And then when the SRBs lit up, it was like a shockwave. You know, you could tell the difference. It was impressive, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this looks like during the actual launch, no matter static fire test. So this is where we're going to get a real view of what 33 Raptor 3s look like. But there is on screen a brilliant response by Miss Shotwell. Works pretty good for a partially assembled engine, winky face. We know who that was aimed at. Again, you know, it's all good fun, but I love it when, you know, executives, and in Miss Shotwell's case is the president of SpaceX, you know, just having a bit of fun on X. That's kind of fun. Terence, please can you say sorry to my wife, as I did not get the housework done now, due to watching amazing coverage from NSF. Apologies to Terence's wife, but yes, it is the first flight of the Block 3, the V3. I will say both because people get arguments about what is called Block 3 or V3. It's called both. Alex, help me out, by the way. What do you call it, Block 3 or V3? What do you call it the most?
I don't care. I mean, SpaceX officially, like, at least on the tweets and everything, they seem to be using version 3, so I've been using version 3 more often lately, but I don't care really that much, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Basically, chat, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So don't get in arguments with anybody calls it either. It doesn't matter. Negative, Ascent Specialist. What a username. That's great. Good morning, SF. Thanks for the launch. Full entertainment as always. What do we think the odds are of success today out of 10? I'm a 7.5. Right, well, that covers about 15 other people asking the same thing in chat. So let's take that one and go around the houses, starting with EJ. Out of 10, and you have to qualify it, I assume, by what you mean by a rating that you provide, do you give for the success chances of Flight 12 today?
I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10. I really honestly think that SpaceX has had some time to cook with this booster. They've isolated a lot of unknown unknowns. Booster 18, I'm thinking here. They've isolated a lot of unknown unknowns. They've had 8 months to figure this out. They've done all the testing. I think they've done their due diligence here. I think this thing is going to go, and I think it's going to be really awesome when it does.
Alex?
It's complicated.
You had a chance to think about it.
I know. I'm about also the same as this supporter. It's probably 7.5. So yeah. 7 to 8. We'll see.
I'm gonna do the same, and I'm gonna just qualify it by saying they'll probably lose the booster, during its landing burn or something like that. And that's fine. And people will go, Chris, you've been a SpaceX fanboy by saying that's fine. It's the first flight of the V3, Block 3. I'm going to say both again. As long as the thing don't fall back on the pad, you're already into bonus territory. Get to staging. That's great. The ship fires up, gets through its burn. Wow, okay, now we're cooking. The booster comes back, does a boost back burn. Great. It loses itself on landing burn. Not terrible. That's where I'm going with this one. So that will work for me. If it does everything perfectly, wow. But again, we've been around, immerse you in chat because you had a hardcore audience in from the stakeout stream, literally like just under 10 hours to launch. Most of you will be hardcore rocket fans. You'll know the challenges involved in rockets. And this is the world's largest, most powerful rocket ever built. And it's coming off the back of some V2, Block 2, call them both, flights. Let's just try and get through some milestones here. Then we'll start, looking at increasing the cadence and having the other pads come online and bringing up, the Gigabay factories into production. We're going to start seeing vehicles moving from Starbase to KSC on barges. It's all coming. It's all coming. So let's get to the point where we just get through these teething issues that you fully expect with test flights, because it is still a test flight. There we go. That's my little speech. Williams, become a pad member. Sorry, EJ's going to say something, EJ.
Dude, I'm kind of with you on that one, but also at the same time, dude, look, I just want to bring your attention to the picture on the screen. Look at the pad 1, all right? Or pad A, or that pad, or whatever you want to call it. Look, they're already building the commodities bunker over there. I don't think that they would send this thing unless they were sure. We know that the pad at 39A at the Cape is in a pretty far along state of being, like, not completed, but it's definitely there. And it's definitely locked into the pad 2 design here. So that's the pad on your left, for the people watching at home. The pad on the right was the original pad with the stool, with the milk stool, the OLM that work was always continuing on, right? But you could already see that they're retooling that to build out that pyramid structure on the far right of your screen. They're already building it out to be like pad 2, to be like the one with Starship on it right now. Dude, I'm going to err on the side of optimism here. I think they wouldn't send this thing unless they were absolutely ready. Because I really don't think this thing, you don't want, I think we're past the kind of quirky iterative design. Oh, it blew up, whatever. SpaceX needs to produce, man. They got to get going. Like, if not for HLS, but, well, hey, they got some pretty ambitious plans here now. The scope of the project has very much changed over the last couple of months, right? Like, you go back a year ago at this time, it's just like, okay, let's, build out HLS, then we go to Mars. Now it's so much more than that. I really think there's a lot riding on this launch, and I don't think they'd send it unless they were absolutely sure. But anyway, yeah, just thought I'd chime in.
A comment well made. It's kind of amazing that I got very excited about the first, as everyone did, about the first flight of Starship, but you see the difference, as JJ just pointed out, between the milk stool of pad 1, which is now gone, and what looks like a proper pad. I mean, this looks like a proper launch site now on pad 2. And I've said it on Raptor sites almost every single time that I absolutely love pad 2's design. It just looks great. And it looks like something that can handle an increasing cadence. It was always like, oh, maybe it'll paint the legs a bit more, make it look a bit more presentable on pad 1, but now it's not a case of that, it's a case of robust pad, and I do like the orbital launch mount on this, and this is the template going forward for 39A and 37, and pad 1 eventually, so I'm looking forward to that. Jeff, row your boat, because Jeff is such a regular member. He's actually got his own Nightbot command as a gifted Red Team membership. If you do get gifted membership, by the way, do say thank you. It means you've got access not only to having your name in green chat, which is no bonus at all, other than you get shown as a member, but you do get actual benefits from it, such as the multi-view streams that we'll be showing during the entire coverage we'll be doing on this one, where you get the producer's chair of looking at all our cameras that are live, and we're literally putting more and more cameras on as we speak. Our team are out there at Starbase right now turning things on, so you'll get access to all of that. And also that's kind of fun, because when the launch stream happens, you'll see chat running at 1,000 miles an hour because there's so many people in the member areas. There's a chat room there as well on the production screens, on the multi-streams, so you'll get to be able to chat more calmly in there, because obviously by the less numbers you'll find the chat scrolling less. Joseph, shout out to the Loma Team South Texas watching live stream. Thank you to all who bring live coverage. Well, thank you for your support. You got something from the store. You got 2 things from the store, so I'm going to put them on screen. There we go. You got the Flight 12 patch. Less than 40% now remaining. By the way, we say every time people go, well, you were just saying as a sales tactic. No, I actually mean it. Once they run out, they run out. We can't just buy to order. It costs too much, and we can't put prices on that. That'd be ridiculous. So we get a bulk order in, we go for it, we try and get the right number in. And we always find the sell so fast, but there's less than 40% remaining now, so it's a pre-warning that once they're gone, and that's that's how we've always done it with the patches. Chris Tuttle, how does high humidity improve rocket ascent performance by reducing air density and drag, or is it affects negligible like rockets like Starship? AJ, that's one for you.
Choose from thousands of realistic voices to use in your content. Change the way you record podcasts, voiceovers, and branded content with the #1 AI-powered voice generating technology.
Okay. Does the Unity improve rocket ascent performance by reducing air density and drag, or is the effect negligible? It's not a negligible effect. It's something you got to take into account. It's definitely going to affect it in one way or another. Like I'm keeping this vague because this is a complicated question. I'm not going to lie. I could drone on about this for a good amount of time. It'll affect it. It's not a crazy amount of effect. I'd say something that would be more perturbing to a launch would be like the latitude north or south where it launches from. Dealing with the Earth's rotation as you go probably is the most perturbing force. Weather does absolutely play into it, but that I would say that's more about vehicle health than anything. But that doesn't mean you can't necessarily launch in the rain. I mean, the real question is, Chris, can you static fire in the rain?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that poor Ship 36 situation. Zachary, got the pin collection. Nice V3 print for my nerd room, plus a couple more things. Thank you for providing the best coverage of all things rockets. Let's go Starship. Well, we're always improving. We're always looking to improve. I never think we're the best. We're never the best ever. We're always looking to improve. That's the only way you can do it. You can't keep saying, that's it, we've done it, we've got everything we want now, that's all the cameras we ever need, that's fine. No, always look to improve. Always look to improve. It's the only way you can do it. Zachary got lots of things, by the way. Several of them there. Bideford's here with a big, massive super chat. May Flight 12 be a success? Are we all ready to jump up and down, along with high-fiving each other after each segment of excellence? I am. Hugs to Alex, Chris, EJ, Ryan, and all in chat. Bideford's always lovely with the messages, as well, massive support as well. And then Rungo's a beats that with a humongous super chat. Time to break Chris B. I'm already broken, so you don't need to break me anymore. Also, when do you all think Starship will break Columbia's endurance record on STS-80 over 17 days in space? Alex, we haven't got to orbit yet with Starship, have we? So when would that happen? What kind of mission would involve... I mean, looking at HLS, maybe?
No, way earlier, I think. It's probably going to be when they do the ship-to-ship propellant transfer demonstration. They've already said that the first ship that goes up in that 2-ship mission will actually do a long a long endurance orbit loitering, basically. Like it's going to stay up there for a while in order to test all of the different systems, in order to extend because the base configuration of Starship, they said, can stay for about 48 hours in orbit. That's good enough when you're, for example, sending a tanker up to a depot, for example. That's okay. But the depot itself needs to be up there for weeks at a time, so that particular vehicle needs to be fitted with extra things going on there that can extend the battery life, can keep the propellants conditioned for a longer time, and so the ship-to-ship propellant transfer demonstration is supposed to be the first ship that goes up, actually has those mods already, stays there for a prolonged period of time, basically, and then the second ship comes up and docks to it and does the propellant transfer demo. They wanna basically kick, I guess, two birds with a stone. I'm not gonna say the other thing. So yeah, they're just getting rid of two different missions at once, because they need to do also a long endurance mission as well as part of their preparations for HLS. Might as well do both. So yeah.
Two things. One, that is HLS, so I was kind of right. And two, look at that picture.
But it's not HLS. It's just
it's kind of HLS. It's kind of related, isn't it?
But it's also useful for Mars and all the other things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Should
but
I
again,
JFK?
I'm going to this picture. This picture's awesome, right? Ryan's pulled up what looked like SES-80's landing. Look at that. I mean, AJ, help me out. I get soft feelings and kind of like warm, fuzzy glows when I see shuttle landing photographs. I know the program had its challenges and whatever, and we don't want to go back to it, but it was amazing, wasn't it?
One of the best things we've ever made, Chris.
If the dinosaurs, these great rulers, could be...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's an